Elizabeth Taylor, at the age of 55, is as beautiful as we have ever seen her. She's been making movies for 46 years, and for all of those years, the world has watched. From a ravishing 9-year-old to movie queen, the loves, the tragedies, the triumphs, and the illnesses. As a loving mother and the famous other woman, we have seen her thin and glamorous, and we have seen her fat and dumpy. She is a survivor, indestructible. And somewhere in those 4 decades of making headlines, she stopped being a star and became a legend. Elizabeth Taylor has had 7 marriages, 6 husbands. First at 18 to hotel heir Nicky Hilton. It lasted 7 months. Then at 20 to British actor Michael Wilding. They had 2 sons and 4 years of marriage. She met showman producer Michael Todd, and they were married and had a daughter. But tragically, 13 months later, he was killed in a plane crash. Singer Eddie Fisher became her 4th husband, and they decided to adopt a little girl. They were married for 3 years until she met Richard Burton, and their union was called the romance of the century. They were married for 10 headline-grabbing years, then got a divorce, only to marry again. It didn't last. John Warner of Virginia became her next husband, and he made her a senator's wife. The marriage ended after 5 years. There are times when Elizabeth Taylor seems much like one of her movie characters, Maggie the cat. She indeed appears to have 9 lives. In 1983, a very overweight Elizabeth Taylor checked into the Betty Ford Clinic. She was addicted to prescription drugs and alcohol. A new Elizabeth Taylor emerged, drug-free and slimmed down. She says that it was at the Betty Ford Clinic that she found self-esteem. Elizabeth Taylor was one of the first to come out to raise money and awareness for AIDS. And wherever she goes, she's still the center of attention. She calls a press conference to announce a new perfume called Passion, and hundreds of reporters show up.
It's funny how any announcement I make turns into a marriage.
Those rumors of marriage are centered around Elizabeth Taylor and actor George Hamilton. They've been friends for years and have been on location together in old Tucson, Arizona, shooting a television movie called Poker Alice.
Only trying to protect you, Alice.
By telling me what kind of man I should like and shouldn't like?
Well, you haven't been very successful thus far with men, have you?
I visited with her during a break from shooting there. In her turn-of-the-century costume and wig, she looks incredible. She had once told me that she didn't mind being fat. But now that she is again a size 6, the truth comes out.
I didn't enjoy being fat.
Really?
No, I hated it. And I hated all the fat jokes. I probably laughed as loud or louder than anyone. But they hurt. They hurt me a lot. And there was a kind of defiance that I think made me get even fatter. Like it's my business. It's my body. I went through some photos the other day, and they're incredible. I let my hair go. I didn't bother with makeup. I obviously just didn't care. I was quite clearly unhappy. And I think a lot of it was rebellion setting in. I've worked since I was 9 and sort of been told to do this and that. And I reached a point in my life where I thought, no, damn it. If I want to be fat, I'll bloody well be fat.
Did you ever have a life where you were just a little girl?
Before I was in films in England, yeah.
For about 8 years?
Yeah.
That was the only childhood?
Mm-hmm. And really the only time when I wasn't famous.
You know, you're probably the only person, the only actress I can think of whose life can really be told through the films, because you did start so young. The film that we remember when we think of the baby Elizabeth Taylor was when you were 12 years old, and National Velvet.
Oh, well, that was like playing myself.
Have you ever been quiet for a few hours and just think?
All the time. All the time about horses. All day and every night.
I chose the horse for that. Nobody else could ride it in real life other than me. So the film was just really, I suppose that's why it's one of my favorites.
When you did a film called Cynthia, you got your first kiss in Cynthia. Do you remember?
Oh, I do remember. And I think in real life I got my own first kiss about 2 weeks before. I do remember I was in a panic that I'd be kissed on the screen before I was in real life. And that would have been such a terrible humiliation.
Who was the first kiss?